All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Between the Lines. I am the pet man, Matt Morrow. Between the Lines is our deep dive into Charlotte metro area high school football. Um, Tonight, we're going to have a special guest join us in a couple of minutes. That is East Meck athlete James Bailey, who is coming off an incredible game this past Friday night. He had 3 interceptions, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, 3 touchdowns, and 100 total yards on offense. That is an incredible stat line. So I had to get him on here to talk about that game and a few other things as well. So um, we're going to run the intro and then we'll be right back. And then we'll have Mr. James Bailey here to join us. So sit tight, get comfortable, and we'll be right back as soon as I find the right intro. It's been a long Tuesday. Oh man, where's my intro? Maybe we won't run the intro tonight, but I like running it because it's a cool theme song. But my intro has disappeared here. You gotta love computers, don't you? You got to love computer. Oh, if I go in the right folder, maybe that'll help. I love having technical issues while being live. There's nothing better, man. There's nothing better. All right, here we go.
You see him on CFI. We on it all night. 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 Touchdown! Highlights and rankings. They cover the toughest there in America. Charlotte football insiders. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you can catch them on that podcast. All over the state with Hoof, Molly Creek, Myers Park, Audrey Kell, West Charlotte, Olympic, Providence Day, Mountain Island Charter, and so many more. CFI, we on it all night. 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 CFI, we on it all night.
All right, I love that intro. I love the song. You know, that intro song was actually created by AI. I didn't do it. Our good buddy EJ Nicholson did. It still blows my mind. But anyway, let's get to the reason why most of you are probably here, and that is to hear from this talented East Meck athlete. As I said, he had an incredible game this past Friday. 3 interceptions, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, 3 touchdowns, and 100 total yards. His name is James Bailey, and we're going to bring him on the show right now. There we go. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing good. So first of all, I got to ask you about this game on Friday. I mean,
Yes,
how did you have an incredible game like that? And take us through what you were seeing on, well, first of all, on defense, because 3 interceptions in the game by itself is just crazy.
Yeah. To be honest, I started out at quarterback in the game. So like all of my stats are just from the second half alone. I really started out quarterback in the first half. We were having some quarterback struggles, and I mean that happens within a season. So they put me in second quarter out. I mean, during halftime, I just went up to my coaches. I was like, "Yeah, this is not working. I need to go back to where I'm best at, and I know I can make the team make the team better as long as the ball's in my hands." So they put me back, and I mean, just off the jump, like the offense exploded. Like it started with a big play for me off a screen route, and then from then the offense kept going, and I kept going. in terms of the interceptions, I mean, just smart play. The first interception of the game was I just read a screen route, something I had ran once, something I seen on film, and read a screen route, jumped it. I mean, we going to the house for 6. Other two, just running with the routes, ran with the route well, back in cover 1. Quarterback threw it up. I'm not quite sure what he was thinking, but and then the last one, same thing. I mean, we had just scored. I just scored a second touchdown for the game, and the quarterback just trying to take a shot downfield and just being there again, get an interception. That really iced the game. And yeah, I mean, it was a crazy game. Like, I mean, once I got that pick 6, I mean, from there it was just on. Like, I was already feeling emotions. Like, I was upset that we were down because I knew we were a better team. So really just going out there playing to my best, and that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you guys, like what we were talking before the show, you guys started 0-2. I saw you guys, against Harding, obviously. And then what changed to make you guys, win your last 2 and go to 2-2 on the season?
Really just our mentality. I think that's the biggest thing. I don't feel for us it's ever a skill thing. Like at the start of the game, we're competing with every team we play. It's never been a thing like the game hasn't been close. It really just gets to that point where when we make a mistake and other teams score, we start to we just let ourselves get down. We talk down on ourselves, and then after that, I mean, other teams they're already pumped up. The momentum's with them, and they're going to carry that. They're going to carry on from there. A big thing for us the past 2 games, we haven't let that happen. Even if a team scores, we keep each other's heads up, and we just know that we're going to get out here, let the offense go out there and do their thing. And if they don't, the defense is going to come back out, and we're going to get a stop. So just mentality and just coming out to practice every day, knowing that we in our heads we're the best team. Like no matter who we're playing, so we're going to come out there every week and we're going to keep the same mentality, and that's going to lead to a lot more wins for us this season.
I like it, man. Well said. Now, for the last couple of years, I've called you the best player on your team.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, it's bearing out with the stats you put up, the highlights that you produce. A lot of people ask me when they talk about you, why did he stay at East Meck? Why didn't he transfer and go to some other school, like other players do?
Yes, sir. For me, it's about building the program. I've been with Coach Sanders for 4 years now. Before that, it was 3. And obviously there's been talks about transferring, but at the end of the day, being with the coach that's helped me get to where I am today, it's not a different type of connection that you want to build with any other coach, and that you can't build within 1 year of just playing football. So continuing to stay with my coach and building the program with him and the rest of the guys around me, that's what it's about. All the guys that I'm playing with right now, they're brothers to me. They're guys that I plan to take into my life outside of high school, outside of football. So for me, it's much deeper than just winning games. It's about building the program and having the guys around me to have fun as well as we continue to get better, in which I'm happy that in my senior year, that's something that we're doing very well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. The win that you guys had over North Meck, you guys made a big jump in, the rankings that we do for CMS. I saw a lot of excitement about that on social media, but how is the team responding to, this kind of winning streak you got going?
Very well. Like after the Garinger game, it wasn't even like too much excitement. It's like we're excited for the night, and then after that, for us it was like we got to get back to work. We can't let one win cause us to just be happy and then we go into the rest of the games lackadaisical. It's a thing where we're going into practice with the same intensity because we want to keep winning. Like this is not a one-win thing for East Meck. Like we're not going to win these 2 games. That's going to be it. And I can guarantee that we're going to come out here and we're going to play our hearts out every single Friday night. And it's going to lead to a lot more wins for us because these 2 wins, they mean something, but they're not everything. Until we're able to get to where we want to be at, we're not going to be satisfied, and we're going to keep playing that way.
Oh, man, I love it. I love the confidence. I love the leadership. And that's what it's going to take, for that to happen. Throughout your career, like I've said, you made a lot of big plays. You've done a lot of great things on the field. Is there anyone you want to thank for the success you've had so far?
Oh yes, 100%. For starters, Coach Sanders. Coach Sanders has been a huge reason why I've been where I'm at today. Um, he's worked with me. I mean, even from a freshman entering into high school. I mean, he just saw the potential in me. He took me under his wing, and since then, I mean, we've had such a great relationship. He's been like a father figure to me, and it's really helped me out moving forward, not just in football but also in life, because he does things outside of football. Second shout out, obviously my parents. My parents, I mean, I don't even know where to start. They've been here for me for as long as I can remember. I mean, and they continue to do that for me every year, coming to my games every single Friday night, no matter what's going on. They're always there for me and supporting me, listening to things, helping me with things. So that's my second shout out, and then third, obviously my teammates, and just coaches outside of East Meck. So my 7 on 17 protege, I want to give a shout out to them because I've been with them for 4 years as well. They've been here the whole entire road, and obviously just all the guys at East Meck from my freshman year all the way to my senior year. There's a lot of guys that's helped me, and specifically this year, I want to shout out Chima Room, Daniel, Garshiba, and a whole lot of just that whole team. They've been there for me for so long, and I really appreciate them. And it's helped me become the person that I am today.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I think that's great. And you guys are playing some great football, man. You got a big one this Friday against South Meck, who's also been playing well.
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk about that game a little bit here on this show. What can we expect from you guys?
Expect a good game. We're definitely coming to this game knowing that South Meck is a pretty good team. Like they're a very well disciplined team. Watching that on film, they do their jobs and they're going to go out there and play hard. But that's another thing about us. Like we're just as disciplined. We're going to play harder than them. And we're going to go out there and do what it takes to get a win. It's going to be a very exciting. Definitely, I feel like it's going to be a close game. I'm excited to play them. It's a school that we haven't played since my freshman year, and we lost to them. So that taste is kind of like lingering. So being able to come out here and play them 4 years later, my senior year, is going to be exciting.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Well, James, I wish you and your Eagles good luck on Friday, and we appreciate your time as always, man. Thanks
Yes,
a
sir.
lot.
Thank you.
All right. That's James Bailey, star athlete from the East Meck Eagles, won 2 games in a row. Coming into a big game we're going to talk about here in a little bit against South Meck, who's won 3 games in a row. So thank you guys for bearing with me through the technical issues. Thank you, Chris Peavy. Appreciate that. Kim, it's good to see you as always. All right, we'll get the show started now. All right, so tonight we got some analysis, we got some shout outs, we got some deep dive previews, and we got your comments. So feel free to weigh in as we get going here. All right, so we're going to start with the CMS Best to Last that came out earlier today. I got my customary messages from this, so I appreciate that. But we had one change in the top 5. Mallard Creek, because of their win over Myers Park, moves up 1 spot to number 3. Myers Park drops 1 spot to number 4. No changes with Huff or West Charlotte. Huff's win over Mooresville was a good win over a good Mooresville team, and West Charlotte beating Providence, 42-7, was pretty much what most people probably expected in that one. Palisades, of course, we were there, 14-7 over Chambers. Independence's win over Lake Norman, 26-7, I thought was really good. If I did ties, and this is full transparency, if I did ties, I would have tied Palisades and Independence. I think they're that close. I really think they're 5A and 5B, but I don't do ties because years ago I did ties and people got upset. So I don't do ties, but that's how I feel about them. I kept Chambers at 7. Even though they lost, I thought they played a good Palisades team, really well. And they showed really strong on defense. But we did move South Meck up 3 spots to number 8 on the strength of their overtime victory over Ardrey Kill, who drops 1 spot to number 9. Dropped Butler 1 spot to 10, losing to Providence Day. It's not that, not that, that's not something that, I really wanted to penalize that much. Hopewell did move up another spot to 11 with a big win over Rocky River, 51-14. Also moved Olympic up 1 spot, getting their first win on the season over West. Were they on a bye? Oh, they were on a bye. But I moved them up, anyway. We talked about East Meck making their big jump up after their win over North Meck, who drops 4 spots after that loss to East Meck. No change at Providence or Harding. Valentine Ridge moves up a spot, getting their first win in school history over Garinger. You'll see them in shout-outs here in just a second. Rocky River drops 4 spots because of the loss. West Meck drops 2 spots with the loss to Corvian. And then no changes with Berry or Garinger. So that is my brief breakdown of what I was thinking in doing this week's CMS Best to Last. Now, I will tell y'all tomorrow on Football Focus Weekly, I want to make an announcement about this poll. We're going to add something to it that I think, is going to be exciting. It's going to go one way or the other. I just got to get a feel for the interest of what we're going to do with it. So stay tuned for that on tomorrow's Football Focus Weekly in this segment. So we'll move to the very controversial Dirty Dozen. This is the week 5 edition. I did not update that top line there. But in the dozen this week, we got a few changes due to some results that we had. First of all, no changes in the top 3 with Huff, Providence Day, or West Charlotte. Mountain Creek does move up 2 spots with the victory over Myers Park, which dropped them down 2 spots. Now, there's going to be some question because Myers Park beat Weddington head-to-head, but the strength of Weddington's victory over Crest with Myers Park's loss to Mountain Creek, I'm going with what happened most recently. And that's why they're 5 and 6, because I still think, obviously, it's very close between those two. But Weddington playing very well now, also adding KD Cotton with the transfer from West Charlotte. Obviously, that's going to be a big boost to that team. So overall, that's why I've got Weddington ahead of Myers Park here in the Dirty Dozen. Now, Mooresville lost to Huff, but they played very well in spots. So because of that, I moved them up 2 spots here in the Dirty Dozen. No change with Ashbrook with the double overtime victory over Marvin Ridge. I did move Palisades up 3 spots. And I moved Independence and Charlotte Catholic into the dozen. Independence at 10, Charlotte Catholic at 11. And then Crest drops 5 spots to number 12 this week because of the loss to Weddington. Catholic moving in because they got the victory over Kings Mountain, 28-21. Kings Mountain, though, does remain on the edge because I thought they played well, even though they didn't have their starting running back. Lake Norman falls back to the edge with the loss to the Independence. Jan Robinson, Statesville undefeated, Forest Hills undefeated, and Porter Ridge at 3-1, also on the edge currently. So there's some changes in the dozen. I'm sure tomorrow there will be some more discussion about that, since it's been very polarizing on Football Focus Weekly. Mike Eddy, yes sir. Now I got to talk about West Charlotte here for 1 minute because I've seen in some other rankings that people are dropping them because KD left their program. And KD is a heck of a player. He's very talented. He does some special things on the field, but I think people got to realize this season, West Charlotte has played without him the whole season. He hadn't played in any games. So I got to ask people who drop West Charlotte in rankings, are you dropping them because you're ranking on potential, or are you ranking on based on what you see on the field? So I always rank based off of what I see. So, I can't speak for other people, but I just thought that was interesting that, they were getting dropped because of that. I don't understand that thought process, honestly. But it is what it is, man. Everybody has their own criteria. So it's all good. All right. Let's get to the shout outs. The teams who played great last week. First of all, Hopewell, 51 points. That was impressive. I knew they were improved, but they are exponentially improved over where they were last year. And to see that in the first year of a new head coach is really impressive. Really impressive. And I watched some of the film, and they look stronger overall than they have in several years. And that's a shout out to Coach Sneed and his staff, who have done a really good job in a short period of time of improving that program to a level to where they're going to be in a game this Friday night against North Met. We're going to talk about here in just a second. That could put them over 500 at this point in the season, which if you would have asked most high school football experts, that would not have been a prognosis. So that is huge stuff. Providence Day, they're undefeated. They're continuing to roll along. That thought the Butler victory was impressive. But they have a test. And we'll talk about that test here shortly. Coming up this Friday over at Providence Day as they get into conference play. And it's a heck of a conference opener. I don't understand how that happened, but it is what it is. So we'll talk about their game here shortly. South Met, who I just talked about, 3 wins in a row. They won in overtime over Arjukel, 28-27. I released Pep Man's players on social media a little earlier this evening. They have a young man, Rayvon Pauling, who came in filling in for their starting running back, had 2 rushing touchdowns in that game. They got different guys who are stepping up and playing different roles. The quarterback, Carter Gillis, I've been covering him since he was on JV when I did the JV game of the week a couple years ago. He's having a great senior year so far. Callaway Williams is a talented guy that can play receiver and defensive back. And then Quinn Rucker, who's been playing all over the field. He moved to the starting running back position, and he was the one who got injured that allowed Rayvon Pauling to come in and have his big game. So they got guys just stepping up, playing their roles. Their theme this year is the Road Warriors because they don't have a home field. We talked about that on Friday Night Live, how they're playing all their games on the road. And they got another big one against East Met this week. And we just talked to James Bailey, and it sounds like they're going to be ready. So that's good stuff right there. Country Day and Charlotte Latin, they're both still undefeated at 4-0, and they're both putting up big numbers on offense. Country Day, anytime you mention the Buccaneers, you got to talk about Braylon Clark. He had 2 more touchdown catches this past Friday. He picked up, another offer from, I believe it was Vanderbilt recently. So, and he's probably got another one while I'm talking. So he's got all kind of Power 4 offers from all over the place. And you're going to hear the name for him a couple more years. He's only a 2028 kid, so he's a current sophomore right now. And then Charlotte Latin, Troy Logan, the John Douglas, or maybe it's DeHaan. I don't know how you say it. But either way, Mr. DJ Douglas is having a really big season for Latin and putting up some big numbers in their offense. It's going to be fun once they, I don't know if they start conference play this week or next week, but that's going to be a fun conference race because with those two Charlotte Christian and Providence Day in there. That's gonna be some fun private school football to keep an eye on. All right, Valentine Ridge, as I said earlier, they got their first win in program history. That's awesome. It was 49-14 over Garinger. They're much improved from last year. Obviously, Coach Fernandez and his staff are doing a great job. Highlighting their quarterback, Ryder Polston. He was a Pep Man player this week. He had 4 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 rushing, and 220 passing yards in that game. They took a lot of lumps. Last year, obviously in growing and trying to learn how to play together as a school. And, there's a lot that goes into that. But hopefully they're able to pick up a couple more victories before the year is out. I think they've got a chance for sure. Obviously, we talked about East Meck having James Bailey on the show. The win over North Meck, we felt really strongly about North Meck before they've kind of stumbled here the last 2 weeks. And they've been close games. It's not like they've just, fallen off totally. It's just, as you saw with James, they had a lot of turnovers. So, if North can get that corrected, they can still, have a winning pre-conference slate here in a game. No, is North Meck? Oh, no, they're in a separate conference here. So they could still go 3-2 in the non-conference here. But they got this big game against Hopewell we're going to break down here in a minute. Hickory Ridge and Pine Lake got their first wins on the season. Hickory Ridge defeating Parkwood. And then Pine Lake defeating Langtree. So congrats to Coach Gentry and Coach Trotter on getting that done. That's a great feeling to get that first one on the board, and hopefully they can continue to build off of that. West Iredale, we talked about on the Friday night show. What is going on here? There we go. We talked about on the Friday night show. 4-0 after their win over North Lincoln. It's been a great turnaround to that program and Coach Fitzgerald and those guys. We have a lot of talent, and they're making the most of it so far this year. Now they're going to get into conference play, and that's going to be a step up. And we're going to see, how they respond, to that step up in the conference. But it's a really, really great start, and I'm glad to see it. Talking about great starts, Stuart Kramer, they're undefeated and off to an excellent start. Coach Simmons coming in from Mount Airy, and that staff has done a great job of putting those players in positions where they can be successful. They took their lumps over the last couple of years. A lot of them played when they were really young, and now they're juniors and seniors, and they're giving those lumps back. And it's good to see. I love to see programs who stick together, grow together, and get better together. That's kind of what, James was talking about with his decision, to remain at East Meck, because he wants to help build the program. And that's really noble. And I wish we had more of that now. Now it's a lot more instant gratification, but that's how it is, man. It's 2025. Ain't nothing the same no more. All right, let's move on to the deep dive on games to watch this Friday. First of all, Reagan and Lake Norman. This is a bounce back game for both of these teams after some tough losses last week. Most notably, Lake Norman in our area had the tough loss to Independence 26-7. They had been running and throwing the football with great efficiency. After the first quarter, things kind of went downhill for Lake Norman last week. But even in that, they still had some guys who individually played well. Most notably, Memphis Barb, who had 3 sacks against Independence, along with multiple tackles and a couple tackles for loss. So he had a really big game. He's an edge guy for the Wildcats. So he'll be a key player in that one against Reagan, who has a really talented quarterback committed to NC State and a strong defense that's been carrying them so far to a 3-1 record. Reagan is up in the Winston-Salem area, if you don't know where that school is. Luke, good to see you. Y'all bear with me. I'm fighting through my voice leaving me. But we gonna make it. We gonna make it. All right, North Macon, Hopewell. They call this the Battle for the Shield. It is a rivalry up in the Huntersville area. But they got both of these teams going in different directions. As we said, North Mac has lost 2 in a row, while Hopewell just is coming off a big win over Rocky River. So you start looking at this one, man. You think the momentum is with Hopewell. I believe North Mac has won this rivalry the past few years in pretty convincing fashion. So rivalry games are always very interesting. You never know what you're going to get, and it's never exactly what you think it's going to be. Like, Hopewell has been running the ball really, really well, but we know North is a stingy defense. Even in their losses, their defense has played, pretty well. Offensively, they've had some issues. Hopewell has been a pretty strong defensive team. Randrez Lyons is a guy you're going to have to watch on the defensive line. He has had a very strong start to the season. He's a defensive tackle. Excuse me. So North Mac, of course, Mikey McGill at the linebacker spot is going to be a key guy. But they've got to get it figured out offensively. That's where the issues have just suddenly popped up, because their first 2 games, they were rolling offensively. We even talked about it. It was a pleasant surprise to see that. So we might be at this game. We're still in the process of deciding. We ran a poll on Instagram between this game, South Point, and Ashbrook, and Independence and Palisades. So Independence and Palisades won the poll. They won the fan poll, but we also have a staff vote. And we'll see what ends up winning out. But if we are at North Mac and Hopewell, it'll be a really good game. It should be a good atmosphere, especially with Hopewell playing well right now. These 2 schools being rivals and so close to each other. Luke Zabo is saying that Coach Gentry will get his 2nd win against Central Cabrera. Ooh, I don't know. We'll get there in just a second, Luke. I'll give you my take on that. Providence and Butler, can these South Charlotte teams get it turned around? Yeah. Butler's lost a couple in a row to some good schools in Irmo and Providence Day. Providence is having a tough time since week 1 when they had the big win. Both of these teams need this game in a big way. And they're both coaches that have a lot of experience with their teams. Not now with Coach Hale's 1 year removed, but this is important. This is really important because we're getting close to conference play. And you need to start stacking wins, especially if you want to contend for a potential playoff spot, especially for these 2 teams. Butler with 2 wins, Providence with 1. You really want to try to get another one here and try to get some positive momentum going into conference play next week. You start looking at it. Obviously, Butler offensively, the last couple of weeks has been a bit of a challenge. But a Providence defense that's been kind of, beat up a little bit. Are they going to be able to handle a strong Butler running game led by Thomas Wright in the backfield, who is, a really special talent. And then all of the formation shifts and motions and things like that. It's a lot to get prepared for in a 1 week playing a Brian Hales offense. On the flip side for Providence, offensively, we know they've got some firepower, but defensively, they're going to have to keep this score low, I think, to have a shot at getting the victory here. If this gets into a higher scoring game, I like Butler's chances a little more. The Providence defense really got to come to play and shut Butler down early, because if they let them get momentum and get rolling downhill with that run game, everything's going to build off of that, and then that's when you really start getting into some trouble. So of course we mentioned East Meck and South Meck a couple times already. South Meck winning 3 in a row, East Meck winning 2 in a row. East Meck has got it done the last couple of weeks playing good defense. Last 2 games, they gave up 16 to Garinger, gave up 16 to North Meck. In both weeks they won. So it seems like 16 is the magic number. If they can keep South Meck at 16 or below, they got a shot. Of course, if it's higher scoring, I favor South Meck. They got a little more power offensively, a little more explosion. We've seen them already score, I believe, 51 in their victory over Valentine Ridge earlier this season. So they got some firepower. If you can put up 28 on Ardrey in overtime, you're a pretty good offensive team. Ardrey is a pretty stingy defense. So East Meck's going to have to keep playing good defense to have a shot here. If it's a shootout, I like South. Defensive struggle, East has got a chance to get their 3rd in a row. And like James said, if they go over 500, we were talking before the show, but he was saying that if East Meck goes over 500, it'd be the first time they're going to be over 500 in over 10 years. Wouldn't that be something? That would really be something, man. All right. Union County football getting going down there. That Union County Conference, I believe it's the Southern Carolina Conference. Always a tough one. Cuthbertson and Porter Ridge. This is always a tough, close football game. 2 physical football teams. Good defenses, running games. It's kind of like a mirror image in terms of philosophy. They get it done in different ways, but philosophy-wise, they're defensive-first teams that like to run the football. So it should be close. Cuthbertson has won a couple games in a row now. And then Porter Ridge is coming off the win over South Iredale last week. So it's going to be good physical football there. New Bern and Huff. This is a rare case when you got a team from the coast coming all the way to Charlotte. Now, the last time I can remember we had a team from the coast come up to Charlotte, I believe it was New Hanover who came to Butler. And I remember a lot of us saying, there's no way New Hanover is going to come from Wilmington and beat Butler. But they did. I distinctly remember that. And I remember being shocked seeing that New Hanover won that game. So, now, for New Bern, they're coming off a loss to Cleveland up in the 919 area. So this is a long trip. If you've never been to New Bern, it's at least 5 hours from Charlotte. I'm saying at least. On a bus, it's going to be longer. So can it be close? I don't know. New Bern runs the ball. They have a good running game, but my honest opinion is if Cleveland blew them out last week, they got a tough challenge going up against a even stronger defense in the Huskies, coming off a game where they gave up 21 points, which is not their typical standard. So you expect them to be locked in and ready to go. But I applaud New Bern for making the trip. That's incredible to come that far for a non-conference game. I remember in the offseason, Huff was taking up. I mean, it took them forever to find this game because they couldn't find anyone that wanted to play them. So I'm glad these two were able to get that worked out. All right. Like Luke said earlier, he thinks Coach Gentry at Hickory Ridge will get his 2nd win against Central Cabarrus. Hickory Ridge playing some good defense last week. I think they only gave up 7 points to Parkwood. So that's major kudos to the Raging Bulls for that. Central Cabarrus has some good talent. They've been in some close games. They lost in overtime, I believe, to Northwest Cabarrus earlier this season. They played better football under Donnie Kiefer so far this season compared to last season. I thought offensively, I looked at some numbers. I thought Hickory Ridge was efficient offensively. I think it's Barbario's the quarterback. Didn't have any turnovers. I think he had a touchdown pass last week. They ran the ball with several different guys who did well on the ground. That kind of effort's going to be paramount. Central Cabarrus obviously has a home run hitter in DeMonte James, so Hickory Ridge has got to stop the run first and foremost if they're going to have a chance in this one. If DeMonte James gets loose, it can be tough. They also have Infinite Morrow on the defensive line, who's looked really good in some highlights I've seen. He was a Pet Man player earlier this year because of his performance against Montgomery Central. So, all right. See, I had to talk to Bears Kane to get you guys pumped up tonight. Janelle Lattimore. Central is tough this year. All right. Yeah, I've seen they have a lot of close games. And Luke said he's always going to ride with Coach G unless he is playing JM. All right. Well, there you go. I see why you said what you said. Good stuff. All right. Audrey Kell and Chambers. This was a really interesting game. There are two good teams coming off tough losses. Audrey Kell with the loss in overtime to South Meck, and then Chambers with the close loss to Palisades. Who bounces back? Chambers being at home, coming off their first loss. I really want to see how they respond. Coach Captain Munderland, defensive coordinator Charles Johnson, they are locked in. And if anyone ever wondered if they're doing it just because, they're retired Carolina Panthers and it's something to do, that is not the case. Those guys are locked in 110% into coaching that team. And I was just watching them operate this past Friday night. And I mean, Coach Captain Munderland, he's a little more reserved as the head coach, as you have to be. But when the defense made a big play, man, Charles Johnson was fired up, firing the team up. It was cool. It was really cool, man. So I'm going to be really interested to see how Chambers responds. And Archie Kell, we've seen earlier this season after they had a loss, they responded well. So two really good defensive football teams. I expect it to be low scoring again here. Captain Munderland said offensively they're going to have to go back to the drawing board because they really couldn't find anything against Palisades last week. So this is going to be a good strategic football game, and I'm really interested to see who wins that one for sure. All right, and then finally on the deep dive, Myers Park at Charlotte Christian. I think this has the chance to be a really good game with two really good running backs. First of all, Myers Park with Josh Falzerano, special season he is having. He's been over 100 yards every game so far rushing. This past game, he rushed for 189 yards in the loss to Mallard Creek. Charlotte Christian coming off a bye. But before that, they lost to Independence in overtime. But Jamal Rule had an incredible game. Oh, my gosh, 293 yards rushing in that loss. So Charlotte Christian at 1-2. Expect them to be really locked in. I don't think they want to go to 1-3 before they start conference play. Myers Park, one of the better teams in Charlotte so far. This is their first loss. How do they bounce back against a really good Charlotte Christian team that's going to be ready to play after 2 weeks? That'll be some really good football over there in a really good part of the city, Charlotte Christian. Karen Belk said, what did I miss? Well, we started the show talking to East Meck athlete James Bailey. That was a really cool interview. We'll cut that up and we'll put it out there. We did the best to last and the Dirty Dozen. Letting you know, I did put Independence back in the Dirty Dozen, so y'all don't have to come at me again this week. Um, and then we did shout outs, and now we're at the deep dive near the end of the show. So there you go. And you can always watch the show in the playback. I don't know if I say that enough, but if you don't watch it live, you can always watch the playback and catch everything that you missed. John weighing in says RG Kyle Rodriguez is crazy fast. Yeah, he was a Pet Man player last week. He almost made it this week. Another big game receiving. He stepped up and became the primary passing target for Jared Curtis, the quarterback over there at RGKL. And while I'm talking about RGKL, let me just talk about. I got put in a message about Jack Curtis. He's the former RGKL quarterback and the brother of current quarterback Jared Curtis, who's fighting cancer. He's still playing college football. He's up at Carleton College. He's having a really good career up there. He's a senior now. But he had posted a GoFundMe about playing football while fighting cancer. And if you haven't seen it, it's out there on social media. He's got an incredible story. And my prayers go out to Jack and the Curtis family for going through that battle. But he's a heck of a quarterback, and a really good young man. So my thoughts are with you guys, Jack and the Curtis family. All right, Nia Lou, she is saying that she's picking Chambers again and betting on the defense. Well, I don't blame you. It's a good bet. I mean, I thought they were impressive on Friday. Palisades got them on a couple plays, but overall, I thought they were strong. Really fast defense. That's the biggest difference between Chambers' defense this year and last year. The speed they play with and the focus that they play with overall on both sides of the ball. Yeah, Luke, for sure. Definitely pray for that young man. He's a good young man, coming from a good family as well. Now, we talked about North Met. Kendall Coles was one of the best North Met quarterbacks that I can remember. And he's also a really good Madden player. For a couple years, I ran Madden leagues on PlayStation, and Kendall was in the league and one of the best players. So good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well, for sure. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, Karen. I know a lot of people still don't know about the Between the Lines show, and that's my fault. I don't promote it enough, like I should, but it gets really good numbers in the playback, so people realize it's there. They go back and watch it. But Tuesday night, a lot of people forget that we are live and not pre-recorded. So all right, the last thing that I'm going to talk about here tonight, once again, is the Queen City Senior Bowl. Registration is open. If you do want to play in it, all players must apply to be considered for selection. If you live in Mecklenburg, Cabarrus, Union, Gaston, Cleveland, Iredell, or Rowan counties, you are eligible to play in the Queen City Senior Bowl. If you're outside those counties, you can apply. And then we do reserve the right to allow schools outside of those counties listed to participate on a case-by-case basis. If you are watching this show, please share this with your son, your coach, whoever it is that you can get the message to. We have a lot of players from Mecklenburg. We always get a lot of players from Mecklenburg because that's where the bowl game's based. But we have a few from Cabarrus, a few from Union, a couple from Gaston, maybe a couple from Cleveland. But then Iredell Rowan is not very strong right now. So, please share that, man. We've got a few weeks to go. We probably got about a month left for players to apply. So it's not, dire straits yet, but usually once we start making announcements on the regular, we'll pick up a lot more applications. And I don't want anyone to miss the opportunity to play in the game because it really is a great experience. We get college coaches out there. The players get a lot of free stuff. Um, I mean, it's really, really good. And I can say the Queen City Senior Bowl really strives to promote these kids that are selected. I mean, I do a lot of work. I'm just gonna say it. I do a lot of work for this game because it's really important, not only to me but to the people that are behind it, the executive committee, and then the charitable partner, the Metro School. Um, it's really a big deal, really a big deal. So please share that out for your seniors. Yes, seniors, only seniors, because in North Carolina, there's a rule where anyone that is not a senior cannot play in a postseason all-star game. I think it's the amateurism rule or something like that. They don't have it in every state, but that is the rule here in North Carolina. Why? I don't know, but that's what it is. All right. Well, that being said, thank you guys for watching Between the Lines tonight. Join us tomorrow for Football Focus Weekly, where the guys will join me, and we'll review the big games from last week. Review the CMS Best of Last I debuted today, along with the Dirty Dozen we just talked about. Everybody have a good night. Appreciate it.